Hello again, parents and families. This is part 2 of my math series, and the goals for this video today are to understand how your students handle combine and take apart word problems. Again, to be able to create simple but challenging problems that they can solve in their everyday life at home. And just a reminder of, within these problems, what does a 4-star answer look like? So let's get started. So, with combined problems, there are 3 types. The first is that basic question. Combined problems have to do with getting more of some of the same item. So you have 3 books, you get 6 more. So the first type is result unknown, and this is that very basic problem that we've already been through. The second type is change unknown. So that second digit in a problem is a change. You're changing that first number. So a change unknown, we don't know what they got, but we know the answer, which is a little bit of a mind shift for kids. They're used to answer being after the equal sign. So this is kind of a switch from that. And the last one is the start unknown. Again, another switch where you don't know what you started with. You know what the change is, and you know what you ended up with. So in coming into any problem, we want to start with the first question, what do we know? And then once we've outlined everything that we know, what do we need to know? And this question is really important with change unknown and start unknown, because again, they see that equal sign, they want to put their answer there and have their answer have to do with the equal sign. And we're kind of switching their mindset to it. The answer could be anywhere in your problem. So on the next slide, I'm going to give you an example of one of these problems, and I'm going to do it as though I'm talking to your kids, just so that if I post a problem of this nature and you want them to watch this first, it will be more in their language. So let's look at an example of a combined word problem. So remember, kiddos, we want a 4-star answer. Even if that answer pops right in your head, when you hear the question, keep it in there, keep it to yourself, and let's look at a 4-star answer. So here's our problem. Jim has some pennies in his bank. So in this problem, we can already see that we don't know what we're starting with. We don't know what he has in his piggy bank. His mom gave him 3 more pennies, and now he has 8 pennies in his piggy bank. So the problem we're trying to solve is, how many pennies did he start with? So remember, we're going to start with what we know. So first, we know Jim has a piggy bank. There it is. We don't know what's in it, but we do know that his mom put 3 inside of that piggy bank. And as always, I'm going to add some numbers so we can make sure that we drew the correct amount of pictures. So his mom put 3 in. Now let's start our equation, just to keep going with what we already know. Again, we don't know what he started with, but we do know his mom gave him some more. And we know that when we get more of something, we're adding, not subtracting. She gave him 3 more, and now his total is 8. So with what we know, let's try to figure out what he started with. And again, you might already know, and that's great, but let's figure it out just to prove to ourselves that our answer is correct. So continuing to count from 3, let's add some pennies into his bank until we get to 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, I'm going to add some numbers just to make sure. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Now, we might be thinking, we're done. He has 8 pennies. But that wasn't the question. They asked us how many pennies he started with. And how many pennies he started with are the blue pennies. So we're going to count the blue pennies. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue pennies. So we know that he started with 5 pennies. Then his mom gave him 3 more, and now he has 8. Last, I'm going to look back at the problem. I'm going to use the word pennies to write a sentence about my answer. Jim started with 5 pennies. That really helps me as your teacher to see that you understood the question was how many he started with. Nice job. All right, so back to parents. The next type of problem is a take-apart problem. You have the same 3 kinds. You have result unknown, the kind of basic subtraction. You have 9 books, lose 6 of them. How many do you have? Change unknown, that second digit in the equation is the change to the first one. And lastly, the start unknown. Again, in my example, we're going to start with what do we know, and then we're going to figure out what we need to know. So again, I'm going to have an example next, and you can use this with the kiddos if they come across one of these take-apart problems and need a reminder. So here is an example. All right, kiddos, we're going to do another 4-star problem, but this time might be a little bit different. So let's look at our problem. Kim has 10 crayons. She gave some to her friend Sam, and now she has 4 crayons. How many crayons did Kim give to Sam? So let's start with what we know. We know Kim started with 10 crayons. We're going to say they're green. And just to make sure, let's count and make sure I did 10. See, I forgot one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Double checked. We've got 10 crayons here. She gave some to Sam. So we don't know how many she gave to Sam, but we do know after she gave some away, she had 4 left. So I'm actually going to circle what she had left just to show that I know she had 4 left. And now let's start our equation. We know she started with 10. She gave some away. So we have to ask ourselves, is that adding or subtracting when you have to give something away? We're subtracting. We're taking something away from ourselves. Now we don't know how many she gave away yet, but we do know she ended up with 4 when she was done. So with takeaway, let's use those slashes. Let's cross out some crayons until we're going to leave that circle. That circle is really important right here where we can see she had 4 left. So we're going to leave that circle alone. We're going to cross out everything else. Boom, boom, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. All those crayons went to Sam. Now last, to figure out our answer, we might say, oh, the answer is 4, but look where the box is. We already have the 4 after the equal sign right here. But this box is empty. That's what we need to know. So let's count what we gave away to Sam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know we proved with our picture that she gave away 6 crayons to Sam. Again, I'm going to look back at my problem and use some of those words to create a little sentence. Kim gave away 6 crayons. So that's an example of a 4-star take-apart equation. Excuse me, problem. All right, families, so those are examples of combine and take-apart problems. You'll see all 6 different types, and you may have already in their homework. Just a few reminders before I leave. First of all of this is optional. I'm doing this to try to give you things to do with your kids. I know some of the kids, their favorite subject is math, and it will really help them if you use the same terminology and vocabulary that I do. And so please do not stress. I'm not asking you to teach this to them. If you want me to make more examples of each of the 6 types, I totally will, and then you can just play it every time I post that type of question. So please don't stress. Use my examples for students. If you want more, please ask. I am not opposed to making anything that you require to make this an easier time. So again, optional, don't stress, and use me as much as you need. Signing off until next time.